begin.
You wake up one morning and you discover that you have been hacked and your personal information is circulating across social media platforms. What is the very step you would take and why? Broadcasting live from Montreal studios, welcome to our AI and Cybersecurity Literacy Forum. My name is Verinta Rubwe. I'm your moderator for today. And as your moderator, my role is to ensure that every voice in the room is heard, and while also highlighting key insights so that our conversation moves forward. And I am an IT specialist. I specialize in ERP systems. Today I'm just going to mention one of the systems which I specialize in. It's called SAP. For someone who is not familiar with the system, SAP stands for Systems Application Products. It is a powerful system which is used by organizations to run their business operations. So the system helps them to centralize their data, to automate processes, and also make accurate business decisions in real time. So when you're working as an SAP specialist or consultant, your role is to maintain and configure the system or of their organization according to their business specifications. Joining me in the studio today is Marshall Tinotenda Chasara. Marshall, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry about the delay, about the
Okay.
technical
I
challenges.
understand technical glitches.
Yeah, it's technology, you know how it is.
Yeah.
So Marshall is a cybersecurity and specialist. He's got a very strong academic and professional background. He holds a bachelor's degree in computer science and is also certified in API security architecture. Marshall brings valuable and hands-on experience in safeguarding digital systems, also comprehensive risk assessments, and also strong security, improved performance, and greater organizational confidence. We are so excited to hear his insights today. Joining us is Dr. Cleo, Nyangari, Mushonga. We are so excited to have you, Doctor, on the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Verinta. I'm honored to be here. Tinotenda.
I'm sorry for the delay. There was just technical challenges here and there. You know how technology is.
Yeah, totally get it.
Dr. Cleo Nyangari Mushonga, I would like to call you Dr. Cleo, just Dr. Cleo. She holds a PhD degree in information technology. She has various certifications, including artificial intelligence management systems. She has over 15 years of experience leading cybersecurity initiatives. She currently serves as an ambassador for Global Council for Responsible AI and a fellow for the Ola Fellowship for AI. We are excited to hear her insights today.
Thank you.
This broadcast comes to you courtesy of the Zim Music Productions. And the founder, Mr. Thaddeus Nakujigara, is with us today. We are so super excited.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Welcome,
We
sir.
want to share, knowledge is power. So when you have the knowledge, it's okay. And we also want to thank our partners because without them, we won't be able to do this. We want to thank our biggest partner and collaborator, 760 Media, and we also want to thank the government of Canada for sponsoring us, Federation for Black Associations, FFBC. We want to thank you for the faith that you put into us so that we can share what we have with the whole world. Thank you and the guests. And the rest will follow, and we want you people to also follow us subscribe, share, and we continue with this. Thank you.
Thank you and welcome once again.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we honor a man who rarely seeks the spotlight, yet everything he touches shines. A man who works in silence but whose impact is felt. When he's not shaping the future of young artists, he is standing in the community, spreading awareness of mental health, giving strength to those who need it most. And when he's not doing that, he's helping newcomers to Canada to find their first job, their first house, and their sense of belonging. This is a man whose action speaks louder than any applause, a man whose kindness has changed lives. Please help me to celebrate a true pillar of our community, Mr. Thaddeus Nakujara. You are a blessing to this generation.
All right, it's an honor. Thank you.
We are honored to have you. In this world where we are living, in this digital world, in my own opinion, I think understanding AI and cybersecurity is no longer optional, but essential. Am I right, Marshall?
You're right. The digital space is always evolving, and new trends of technology poses new security challenges. So which really makes it our lives more difficult and also easier if we understand the impact of technology and how best can we use it to ease our lives.
I'm already have my pen and paper. Today,
Okay.
I'm gonna be a student as well.
All right.
I'm sure I'm gonna learn more from you.
It's always a pleasure.
Before we dive in, I also want to welcome our viewers across all the social media platforms. You are at the right place. Stay put, pick up your coffee, your tea, and relax. You are in great hands. You won't regret this. Marshall, what do you have for us today?
Today I'm gonna be offering a presentation on cybersecurity awareness. Yes, this is mostly what we are about to discuss, its impact, and Doctor is gonna further on AI, which is a very broad and the digital world that we're living in. Everyone says now the IT bubble, the AI is now the new IT bubble. From the .com bubble, now we are in the AI bubble. So Doctor will have to emphasize on the uses of AI, the challenges that it poses, and the new technologies, how it's going to be able to ease our lives in our day-to-day situations. So without further ado, I hope everyone can see my name is Tinotenda Chasara. I'm a lead quality assurance analyst, and I've extensive background in programming, software testing, and now I'm into quality assurance. So without further ado, where are we gonna start? What is cybersecurity in
Yes.
simple terms?
Yes.
All right. So cybersecurity is almost like the art of protecting your network, firstly, your devices, and data from unauthorized access and criminal use. How best can we describe how you can protect your network, your data, and everything that encompasses the whole digital space? Right. So the first thing, it comes to why cybersecurity matters. Why does it matter
Yes.
in our day-to-day lives, right? So, in my own opinion, the first line of defense in every aspect of defense is the physical structure, right? Where I can give you an example, my laptop or my phone, right? This is the physical digital space, that the medium, the tool that I'm gonna use to connect myself into the digital world, right? So the first line of defense that I have to protect myself is the physical device. So from the physical device, then I'm gonna, which network am I gonna be connecting to get access to the web, right? So why cybersecurity matters? Cybersecurity matters as it protects people, businesses, and critical systems. Like recently, very recent, we had an internet outage, right? The Cloudflare. We also have the Amazon cloud service also. So which most systems, or a third, I would say, of the whole internet was affected, and which poses a very vulnerable risk for those systems that rely on the connection, right? Because we didn't have any stable connection by that time, right? So imagine this is a global outage. Most of the systems that run on Cloudflare, run on Amazon and Azure. So those all systems were affected. And what challenges did it poses to a mere user or a corporate or just a business, right? So these are the things that we have to take into account on the aspect of why cybersecurity is such a valuable asset in our day-to-day living. So I would say cybersecurity in general, it is something that is quite broad, and when people talk about cybersecurity, they think it's only about the system, right? Without making sure is the environment where you are going to be operating in, and how best can you make sure that you are secure within the environment. So I can give you an example, Verinta. Right now, can you give me access to your phone?
No.
So you understand, the first line of defense is your physical device. Right?
Yeah.
You cannot give it to anyone else to
no.
access it. So like that is making sure that this is your first line, right? So how do you protect your phone? Obviously you can use your password or your biometrics so that you are secure, right? But how many people know your password?
No one, none.
Not none. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, sir. At least. So those are the kind of ask why cybersecurity matters, and we're gonna venture into the attacks, on different attacks that poses in our cyberspace. So the first one is malware. Then the second one is phishing, SQL injection, DOS and DDO attacks, social engineering, SS attacks, also crypto hijacking, DNS tunneling, and zero-day exploit, and main in the middle, and we also have the ransomware. So these are the types of attacks that are in there right now, and they are evolving, right? So these are some of the attacks that are very common. But what is the most common attack that is an everyday user always encounter? So I'm gonna ask anyone in the audience, in the studio, right? We all live here, right? And we all have been receiving random texts, random calls, but we don't know, right? You might say, okay, I received a random UAPS package, or some random calls that ask you to give them your details.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So these are the whole challenges. But how are they getting our information that in the first place? So that is the aspect that we're gonna dwell much, and let us see how best can we try to avert some of the challenges that everyone is facing right now. So every attack has got a malicious intent to gain your information, and while hackers, some might demand money, some might leverage against you for future later, and some can cause multiple financial losses to a large corporation. Recently, like, when Disney was hacked, it loses a lot of money through certain hackers that were demanding the ransomware. It was a wave, right? We have the Facebook Analytica that was a few years back where there was a data breach, and lots of users' information is still out there, right? But we never know how the hackers are gonna use those information, because right now, what is the most valuable? Um, I can give you an example. Like, what is the most valuable item right now that everyone will always talk about? Audience, studio. All right. So,
Data.
uh, pardon?
Data.
It's data.
Data,
Thank you. So data is more valuable than anything you can imagine right now, because you look at all the tech companies, right? For an AI model to get trained, it uses data.
Exactly.
Right. For our YouTube feed, how it varies from individual, even identical twins cannot have the same YouTube feed, but they're so identical, right? Even in the same house, we can be living in the same house, but our YouTube feed or any social page is different. But how have you come into account why it's so different from, even we like the same things, but it's always different. So it comes to the data analytics, where feeds are generated based on your personal preferences, even though we might have different, various things that we have interest in, but it always varies from person to person. So that is where hackers now come into place, because they are trying to understand you, what you really like, how are they gonna exploit you to get your information, and whatever they're gonna do with your information, it's now based on your social profile. So we know most hackers target high profile people, and they're gonna leverage that data. And for low end users, we find data being exploited, people getting scammed, using different people, what we call now catfish. Everyone's image, even like on your socials, the data, if you check your socials, you might find you might exist in another one's space and posing as a different person, but to that other person who doesn't have the acknowledgement that this is a catfish might fall victim to scams. So that is why it is important to understand how different mechanism of attacks are always important. I'm gonna dwell on 5 main attacks in this segment. The denial, the distributed denial service, which is the most common, where hackers use ransomware. They put you on leverage. Say, Marshall, I'm gonna hold your data. I have certain information about you, and we demand you pay us $1 million, or we do not publish this information about yourself. So these are the most common type of attack, like I have highlighted, mostly for high profile people. And also we have got the man in the middle attack, which is like phishing, right? Different from the normal, but it's like when just a user is in there in the system but doesn't do anything. It's just observing you. Right. Then we've got the email attacks. Also, these are random emails that are posted into your inbox, and users will be trying to access information about you. So those are the kind of attacks that we're gonna be doing: password attacks, malware attacks, and the middle. This one session is all about the distributed denial of service and the man in the middle attacks. So, like all these attacks are all encompasses those two elements: the distributed denial of service and man in the middle attack. So, the man in the middle attack, I'm gonna say social engineering attacks. This is where cyber criminals manipulate themselves, posing as a different person, trying to get sensitive data from you, uh, depending like your credit details, your bank account, your social insurance number. We know those type of scams, right? They're poses as a recruiter that you got this job and we want you to send your C number and your banking details. So these are the kind of scams, right? Then we have got also the minor scams, the WhatsApp scam, the PayPal scam, the Snapchat scams, where just people just send you, can you send me the code that you received, because they'll be using your number. But just because WhatsApp uses a two-factor authentication, so if I use your number to log in, I have to get a message that have got the one-time password, those random numbers that you get when you log into a new device. So those are the hackers that they pose you like, oh, can you do you mind give me that number that I have sent? You understand? So when you fall to that kind of scenario, you end up giving access to the hacker about your information. These are more the social engineering task. All right. So the social engineering task now comes in different forms. So what we're gonna dwell much on is like how best can we try to understand this social engineering task. Anyone who wanna volunteer if I'm gonna use you as an example in the studio for social engineering. This one is for educational purpose.
Okay.
Okay. So
So, because I think maybe the only thing is just how do you protect yourself from this?
okay, so we're gonna venture into that, but this is for educational purpose. All right. We all have emails,
Yes.
right? We all have social accounts.
Yes.
Right. How do you make sure that you secure your systems? How do you use your password? How do you come up with your password?
Obviously, I will look for not familiar mixed ways, mixed numbers and letters to make.
But how do you remember it?
I will remember. Maybe I will write it down.
Okay.
It's so difficult because everything which you do these days is got a password. You have to remember 25 passwords. Is that possible?
Yes, it's possible.
Oh, because I won't be using the same password at every. Maybe banking, you need a password. WhatsApp, you need a password. Facebook, you need a password. TikTok, you need a password.
But this is for educational purposes, because the audience that are gathered here are there to learn, right?
Yes.
So for educational purpose, there's one mistake about you, right? About how you secure your system. You write it down, right? What if someone has access to that piece of paper where you wrote your password? You are already at disadvantage.
I write it in my notebook.
Do you always carry a notebook?
I hide it under the bed.
Now we know. So you understand, those are the kind of scenarios that social engineering is all about how I understand the victim, right? How you think, how you're gonna react. So those are the kind of ways people that are falling victim into, right? So people have to understand how secure your system is, because like I said before earlier, before I understand you as I want to attack you, I should understand the physical premises where I'm gonna be storing my information, because that is the most important thing. Your physical uh, location. That is the most important aspect that we can touch on, right? So have to make sure that whatever you're gonna do, how secure it is, like in a more typical environment. We don't store our backup in the same premises, right? We store it in an offshore location. In case there's gonna be a disaster, we're gonna go to that offshore location, get the backup, then we resume our system. So that is the aspect as what you understand. Like for in your case, now we know where you store your password is under the bed.
No.
But yeah, it's just a way to educate people. Writing down your password is effective if you know how to safeguard your information.
That's correct.
Okay. So the issue is now is how you safeguard your information, making sure that how many people have got access to your bedroom and under the bed, you know. So yeah, everyone in the digital space is it's very naive and very convincing. So all right, firstly, the another attack that I'm gonna venture in, it's called phishing. Phishing is where I pose as a I'll pose myself as an entrusted person. I say, like I highlighted earlier, I'll say I'm a customer service and I'll calling you that your account has been hacked. Do you mind if you can verify yourself? And by verifying yourself, you're giving them the information without you having to understand. So here it's like everyone can see this is like a very, very all drive cars around here. But this is a random text message that I got. And these are all examples that I'm gonna give you are all real and they've happened to me. So what we all use Highway 407. Like if you are around Ontario, you always have to drive using 407. There go tolls over there. But the system here, if someone who lives around okay, firstly before I get into, do anyone see their error on the screen where you find the vulnerability is?
Please take care of your passage. Fill on.
Maybe
Why
the
wait?
website it doesn't work sometimes.
Okay. In the audience, do we have anyone to speak or find
The error.
the error on the message? Do we have anyone? We need to be more interactive. If you have questions, do we have? All right. So I'm gonna.
I think maybe the error there is first the number is not even. I don't recognize it. It's not in my contact.
All right. So we start by the number. That is number one. Any other, because there are two anomalies on that text message that hackers are now using today. Okay, so let me uh, break it down. So, firstly, the number.
Here are people saying the link.
All right. Yeah, thank you. At least, Reaper.
Yeah, the link.
So the link is also not secure because secure system. We're gonna touch on how someone can identify a safer link, and also the difference between the HTTP link and the HTTPS link, and how best can someone try to just a general user. So here is the link. That is, the site is not the one that we use to pay our tolls. It's different. What they did is like they mixed up the how the government of Canada uses its portals, right? And they've kind of rearranged on the on the words and put it like so. We understand it started 407 ETR portal without the highway. But them, they said the highway ERT portal. And for someone who doesn't have knowledge, would think that I'm due on my toes and click on the link. The moment you enter your bank details, then they have got access to your banking services. So this is the most common type of attack, that is the phishing attack, that is very common. Everyone like around here have this one. So we call it the man in the middle attack, but poses as phishing attack. Right. So secondly, here is another one. Right. Okay, this one I've highlighted for you. But did you see the anomaly where it is?
Microsoft.com.
Yeah,
What?
there's a spelling wrong with the Microsoft on the download there.
Yes. So right now the hackers are getting clever, right? So without careful verifying, right? You might say, "Oh, Microsoft has sent me an email," right? But this one will be a hacker that is trying to get to your email, right? So always, email authenticity is always important if you are dealing with emails. We all deal with our emails on a day-to-day basis, and that is why most people get their information gets stored, because we always have our emails storing our personal data. Whatever we send on a daily basis, it always evolve around our email. So our email is also another where we pose a greater risk of getting our information stolen. It's always important to verify those emails that you receive, because sorry, a random person will not be able to notice the anomaly where someone will say, "I received an email from Microsoft." We all, because everyone have got a Microsoft device, and you just think, okay, it's another Microsoft email that wants me to enter certain information pertaining to myself, right? And we end up losing the email. So it's always important to have double verification of your email. Always make sure that the authenticity of the email is always verified, right? So secondly, we're gonna have to get into the links where we understand the HTTPS and the HTTP websites. All right, so the HTTPS is just a standard where how secure is your website, right? HTTP, it doesn't mean you're secure. Your system is secure. It's just more vulnerable. That is where you are at your the most vulnerable if you have a link that says HTTP without the HTTPS. So it is always important to notify the difference in website links, the HTTPS and the HTTP. And also, in internet, we use what we call the Cyrillic alphabet. So it is always important to understand the characters that are used on the internet. Because for someone who doesn't have any clue, I'm gonna give you these examples on these two banks, right? The Maybank and the Citibank, right? The first one and the second one, if you are not quite well versed with the type of characters that normally are used on around the internet, you're gonna fall, right? So the first link is the more secure link because that one has got the standard, right? But the second link, we all see the difference, right? We noted the difference.
The A?
The A on the Citibank and on the Maybank, we understand the difference. We noted it. So this is how I'm saying, like, hackers are getting smarter each and every day. You need to understand those characters that are being used in our day-to-day operations. You have to carefully examine the link. You don't just, okay, the bank just sent me an email. I have to press the link, all right? So I have to carefully examine the links before you click on them, all right? If you understand these two links, we have got the Maybank and the Citibank. But the Citibank, if you look on the second link, right? The second link has a different type of alphabet that is used, but not the standard one that is used across the internet. So it is always important to note the difference on how best you can prevent those phishing attacks, the man-in-the-middle attacks. Because this one is the most important, that the man-in-the-middle attacks, that is very, very common. I click what we call we get into that, the clickbait links, right? So we have got other different types of phishing methods where someone will pose whatever I like, right? Maybe I like cars, right? Right. So if I like cars, the hackers are gonna give information about cars, right? But at the same time, there's gonna be an embedded script that is there to gather my information pertaining whatever I want. So that will be another session where we're gonna be doing some live demos on how information is gonna be taken for the other sessions, right? So what also we need to prevent on these phishing attacks, the man-in-the-middle attacks, is also to avoid those pop-up, ads, avoid those shady websites that we always normally get into. Those pop-up ads poses as a very, very, very greater risk of us losing valuable information on ourselves, and we should always try to avoid those pop-up ads, because the moment that you're gonna click, something is gonna be extracted from your PC, your IP address, your information about you. Some people might lose credible information. Like the easiest way you're gonna have malware or secret injection by those clicking those pop-up ads, depending on the website that you're into, right? So how best can we make sure that also our systems are more secure? How often do we change our password? Anyone?
Sometimes when you forget it, you ask for a new password.
Yeah, so it is always important to always have password rotation, uh, because when information gets leaked, every platform is always out there, and we gonna be less be secure when our information gets leaked, and hackers will always have the leverage because you don't change your password too often. Hackers are gonna use the information to log in your accounts and grab whatever they deem necessary on the platform, right? So it is always important to regularly change our passwords. And how do you? Okay, I'm gonna ask the audience here, right? How do you come up with your password? I know I've asked this question earlier, but how do we come up with our password?
Oh, places. People they usually relate to places or something like this that they've visited. Something like that.
Okay, so what's your favorite place?
Zimbabwe.
We know your password.
Zimbabwe.
No, sometimes people
Zimbabwe.
like their birthdays, their children's names, their
Yes.
maiden names,
Cows,
or
dogs,
their
names.
ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see
Whatever.
how people generate passwords, because passwords are always attached to things that we always remember easily, right? So
Yeah.
you don't
And
have
there's some more there that so people they're typing in so anniversaries and birthdays
Yeah.
like this. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a lot of things.
yes, and it's always important not to put something that is quite too obvious. And what is important is like nowadays we have a format of, it doesn't have to be like standard words, right? Or standard characters. You have to mix up, right? So I have to use uppercase, lowercase, uh, characters, special characters, and numbers, just to have that combination where we have got a variance on your password. If it's characters, now with the sophistication of hackers, they've got now the tools that can decipher your password. So if you put just numbers or characters, it's easier for them because it's just one method, right? So we always important. We're gonna touch on those. Are we gonna structure passwords? What is the recommendation? How best can we try to eliminate these hackers in the next sessions? Right. The second one is like another type of attack, the email attacks, right? So we have the spam email, right? The spam email is the unwanted junk email that we always receive on the spam uh, box, that we don't really recognize those information that is sent, mostly adverts or various items that we don't recognize are stored on the spam inbox. If I send you an email, then my email doesn't be recognized by your system. It's gonna be stored in the spam email up until I acknowledge myself. If it's coming from a recognized source, then I have to read it and validate to say this is coming from a trusted source. So it is always important not to just click any information that we received in the spam email, because with the email structure it always filter certain information that is coming up through the system, and it helps you to reduce your risk of getting hacked, right? So another pause on email attacks, we've got the email attachments. Email attachment, you'll find certain images or documents or executable files. What is most dangerous is accepting the executable files or images, because hackers are now getting more sophisticated every day. if I send you an image, the moment that you click the image, it's gonna inject a SQL uh, virus into your system, or I'll just grab whatever I want, information about you, pertaining your location, everything that you want. So it is always important to always download attachment from credible sources, right? So we have been asking too much about the password attacks, right? So like you have highlighted before, we have got the dictionary attack. These are the ones that is going to be systematic, right? Where we just have, to understand you, what you like you said, your birthday, someone's places, Then we've got the brute force, where I have to try and error. Brute force is just try and error. I have a certain range, but I just have to try and error until I accomplish my goal, right? As a hacker. Then we have got always, like, what is important, it's always the keylogger. The most common keys that are used on your keyboard, all right? Those ones I can easily look at and say, okay, these are the most common keys. That's where the password is gonna be at. So I have to narrow down the combination of on the most used keys. You can tell when you look on a keyboard, these are the most used keys, right? So a hacker can understand the combination of certain characters that are mostly used on the keyboard, right? So another way we have at workplaces, we like to lean on our colleagues, but we never sure who's gonna have access to your logins. So shoulder surfing is another way we can lose our passwords to our work colleagues, and it's always important to observe who is behind your shoulder whenever you are entering your password. We know, like in grocery stores, if someone is behind you, you are trying to enter your PIN. So it is another way you can lose your bank details, because the moment someone has got your PIN, right, they're gonna be using it. Though if I can try to snatch your bag after you shop, then I will have your cards. Then I'm gonna use your card, right? So it's another way we should always be observant with someone who is behind us. Then making sure, right? So if we are here to understand the password, the complexity of passwords, we always have to use a combination, making sure our password is always unique. It doesn't have to be repetitive across all platforms. It has to be unique with every application, with every website, whatever you're gonna be logging in, it has to be unique. So it reduces your risk to be hacked and have your information be stolen. Also, it is always important to practice what we call the two-factor authentication. With the two-factor authentication is the one that allows us to have two devices. When a new device is logged, another device is gonna confirm that a new device has been logged. Like this is one that is the most common that everyone be using. Like we have to confirm. If I log on a new device, I have to confirm to another device that it is me who logged in on this new device. So I have to confirm. So it is always important to have that in our day-to-day lives, to have that two-factor authentication. And also, what is always important when we have a data breach, it is always the best way when you have a data breach is to shut all systems, lock yourself, and make sure that you deal with the external threats internally first. You organize yourself internally, then you reconnect yourself to the external networks. Right. So I'm gonna dwell much and touch on malware. We've got different uh, types of malware, right? So this one is a malicious program or software that disrupts or damages the computer. It's different from malware and virus. These are different things, right? So we also have a computer virus. A computer virus is also a malicious code that replicates itself by copying itself to another program or document, and it changes how a computer behaves. When this one is always common with some viruses that duplicates files, some make sure the system overloads. So a virus is just what I want to do, right, with the system that I want to hack, right? So it always depends. Do you want the machine to overheat? Do you want it to duplicate, or do you want it to crash? So it always like a repetitive, depending. It always suits the programmer, who is with their destination intent, right? So, like I've highlighted before, like certain malware they have got certain different functions and perform, like these ones are the most general ones, right? Also, what is always important is always to make sure if you've got a malware is to understand that your operating systems. It's always funny. People don't want to hate updates, but updates are always important to regularly update our systems. How many of us are still using Windows 10? Windows 8?
Windows 8 is cheaper. It's a relic, you know.
Yeah, I know. It's
Of
it's a
course,
relic. It's
of
just one another. But how best? Because when you understand, Microsoft ceased to offer security updates on those kind of systems. So it always poses you a greater risk when you don't have security patches on a regular basis. So it gives you that vulnerable aspect. So it is always, we are always afraid of change, we know, but change comes with costs and also with understanding that your system is not going to be at vulnerable risk. So it's always important to regularly update your systems, right? And what we're gonna dwell much is on how best can we understand the sources of malware, right? It comes from removable disks, right? Our flash disk that we use on a daily basis. Someone comes, can you, Verinta, can you lend me your USB? I want to use it. Maybe you're gonna come with a virus on my computer. I don't know, right? So it is always important to verify the sources that you are getting your information from, especially with the USB disks, and always the documents, extensions that comes with emails. They always important to understand, and also the network that are we gonna be using, how secure it is, right? So it is always important to make sure that you always have a secure system. How are you gonna connect your data, the modems that you're gonna be using, and the environment that you're gonna be using your devices is always important. I always discourage people from using public Wi-Fi because that where is you're gonna be at very different risks, and that's where you're gonna be vulnerable to hackers. Okay, so now we gonna dwell on backups. How often do we backup our devices? Yeah. Right. So yeah, we should always back up our items. Depending, we should always make sure that we store them on an offshore site, and it is always to keep up and have a safe, and always we practice safer cybersecurity practices. I think that's all for today.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Marshall. That was an excellent and a very clear of breakdown of cybersecurity in our today's digital world. We are so excited. I'm sure everyone is gonna look at their online habits differently. And before Dr. Cleo joins us with her presentation, we're waiting for her to prepare. And then let me just acknowledge our listeners. I can see Blessing Maranga, Charity, Christabel, Dr. Rose. Thank you for being with us today. Waiting for Dr. Cleo to get ready. Edwina, Faith, Franca, Hilta, Jonathan, Kudzi. Thank you for joining us. Laurie, Mark, Maria Pera, Ophelia, Panache, Rumbidzai. Thank you for joining us today. Dr. Cleo, welcome back to the show. Welcome again to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you, Verinta.
Mm.
And thanks, Marshall, for that inspiring talk. It was really insightful. Thank you.
Dr. Cleo, AI. I'm sure it is the hottest topic in every household. What is AI, Doctor?
Okay, so let me start by saying this. There is a Greek philosopher, Socrates. I'm sure some of you may be familiar with his work. Socrates lived in ancient Greece. He never wrote anything down. He believed that real wisdom comes from asking good questions and not memorizing answers. So at that time, when writing threatened to replace thinking, so writing was considered a new technology at that time. He warned people that people would feel wise without actually being wise. So most of us here do not design the apps that we use. We just arrive after the fact and we use those systems, right? So we are kind of like in the same predicament where Socrates was. Ironically, Socrates' student Plato wrote his ideas for him. So if Plato had not written those ideas, we probably not know anything about Socrates. But the thing that Socrates was afraid of was that people would become lazy and that they would memorize instead of thinking. And so the same is kind of true today. We are relying on AI tools more and more. And when you ask an AI agent a question, it answers you fluently and it answers with confidence. So we can easily accept that without even applying our thinking. So to answer your question, Verinta, what is AI? I've underlined the definition here so that we can all be working on the same definition. So AI is a technology that learns from data, recognizes patterns, and makes predictions or decisions without being given every step manually. Okay, so that's the definition that we're working with today. So now let us unpack that in simple terms. AI needs data so that it can recognize patterns. Once it sees enough examples, it can now start making predictions or it can start making decisions. I'll use a cybersecurity example so that we just stay in the spirit of cybersecurity. Think about how an AI system classifies emails as this is junk, this is normal, or if you're in a corporate environment, you can classify that this is a phishing email. And if it's Google, even it won't even be delivered to you because it's phishing, or it flags that it's phishing. How is it classifying that? So the system is trained on Sophia, if some of you know Sophia, she's been to Zimbabwe, she's been on a world tour, but she made headlines in 2017 when she remarked that she wants a baby because family is important. So we might see more humanoids in the future, but for today, let's talk about generative AI and agentic AI. So generative AI is what many of us are seeing today. It produces content based on patterns in the data. So it's the data that it has been trained on. It can create text images. It can create text. You can also provide a prompt to make images. And you can do a lot of things, can help you with your work. So it helps us think, essentially. It helps us to generate more content. Okay, so we have examples. Okay, so in the spirit of keeping this interactive, can you give me examples of Gen AI tools that you are currently using?
ChatGPT.
Yes, ChatGPT.
Quillbot.
Yes,
Quillbot.
I didn't get that.
I say Quillbot.
Meta.
Yes.
Yeah, some people are typing.
Okay.
Google Viewer.
Meta. People
Yeah.
are typing there.
Yeah, 760 Media.
I think it's the most
So there
popular.
are numerous, and I can't even keep track. Some of them that you're mentioning, I'm just like, oh, okay, and I'll accept it today because there are so many generative AI tools that are out there, and the ones that I mentioned, some of them, the major one, the main one is ChatGPT, and obviously Gemini, because most of us use Google, right? So my point in all of this is that generative AI does not act on its own. It has to wait for a prompt. You have to ask it to do something. Now, we see the difference when we talk about agentic AI. Agentic AI can take action. It doesn't just generate content. It can explain, it can plan steps. You can configure it with the steps that you perform, the repetitive steps that you perform on a day-to-day basis, so that it handles those tasks for you, those steps for you. So it's more like an agent that you're creating, an agent or your assistant that you're creating to do the repetitive tasks that you probably don't really like doing. So let's look at an example.
Can you ask her to share her screen again?
Are we still there?
Yes.
Could you ask her to share her
Yes.
screen again?
Please, Dr. Cleo, can you hear me?
Yes.
May you share your screen again with us?
Okay. Oh, good.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so I put some examples there of generative AI and agentic AI. So I'm just going to look on the side where I can see the steps. So with generative AI, we say like for example, ChatGPT, you prompt it, you write it, like for example, write a message to promote my December specials, right? So it's going to create the flyer for you, and show next month, please create a promotional flyer, schedule posts on my business Facebook and Instagram pages for Mondays and Fridays, update my website banner, send emails to past customers, and respond to all booking requests with my approved script. So, with agentic AI, it just doesn't provide you with the message or the flyer. It designs the flyer, and then it writes if there's any promotional captions that you want to provide there. It will log into, because it uses, there's a protocol called Model Context Protocol that is used to link to your social media accounts. It's going to link to your social media accounts, and then it's going to schedule the posts. When after it posts, if you receive any inquiries, it's going to draft emails, or even WhatsApp. If it's connected to WhatsApp, it can send messages on WhatsApp and handle the bookings themselves. I've seen some people creating agents that even call to book appointments. They can call a friend to say, let's meet up for dinner. And it's not me who's calling, it's the agent that is calling actually. So you can create all of those sort of different workflows with agentic AI. So the difference I can say is that for generative AI, it doesn't take any action, you do the work. Agentic AI, it does take some actions. Okay? So moving on, why does it matter to know about AI literacy? Why are we in this session today? So one of the main reasons why it's important is because AI already influences parts of our lives, from hiring, immigration, credit scoring, social media content that we view, or any recommendations that we see from Netflix. All of that is influenced by AI. So we need to today especially, we need to be able to understand what AI literacy is, so that we can see if there are bad things that are not supposed to be coming out from the AI that we're looking at, or if there are wrong messages, misinformation that is taking place, especially when it comes to social media. There are deep fakes today, and recently a CEO lost about 25 million in Hong Kong from a deep fake. Someone called with the face of the CEO and said on a Teams call, can you please transfer 25 million? I don't know how it went, but the person saw the CEO on the video with some of the actions. So what's interesting is that now the recruiters, I skip some. Sorry, sometimes I get too excited talking about AI. The recruiters also are falling susceptible to those deepfakes. One popular cybersecurity company hired a fake employee from North Korea. So because of that, it made the news as well that that happened. And from that now, no, now I'm saying the name of the security company, but that security company has now improved their hiring processes by asking the participants to do more action if it's a video interview. So for example, right now I'm doing all of this with my hands, and maybe you've noticed my eyes are just going like all over the place, right? So those are some of the natural gestures that people have when they're talking. So now if it's an AI, if it's a deep fake, those gestures are not there. So sometimes they say that the security company say that they ask the participants to wave, and then one of the participants say that, oh, that is so unprofessional. How can you ask me to wave in an interview? Because they knew that they'd been caught out, right? So that's the one thing. AI is already influencing so many aspects of our lives that we need to also the other thing is that having AI literacy strengthens your voice and your dignity. So if we know our rights, our digital rights, and how to question them regarding AI, it helps us to maintain our dignity and to also maintain our our identity. So here in Canada, for example, there's the Indigenous data sovereignty, which emphasizes that indigenous data or indigenous indigenous data, cultures and everything should be preserved. Anyone who wants to have that knowledge has to go through the Indigenous Leadership Council to get approval on how they're going to be using that data to train the AI. So if we're also informed about that, we can take part in those conversations. We can also contribute to those decisions that affect us and our dignity. And then also, right now, AI is increasingly being seen, and as we go into the future, it's going to be like a basic skill for work. Actually, it's going to be like when we Microsoft Office. You have to know Microsoft Office in order to do your job, right? So across every industry, across most roles, there are those repetitive tasks that need to be automated. So if you don't know that this can be automated, or we can increase our efficiencies by automating using AI, then you soon be out of a job if what people are saying is true. Okay. So, where to start? So anyone can begin the journey to AI literacy anytime. Start with one tool. I'm sure most of us have used ChatGPT at this stage. So if you master that one tool, and then so not ChatGPT now, find another one, because everyone is used ChatGPT. Find another one that you like, and then master that one too, and then use it for things like studying, budgeting, even your business content. And then once you have that tool that you really like, you find a short course to do. AI basics, digital literacy, and all of those things are courses that you can do as a stepping stone. And then you also apply it to your daily life. I'm also in the process of building an agent myself that will make my life easier, especially with regards planning and calendars and appointments that I always forget that I have an appointment. And then there's also be part of a community. The best way to learn is to talk to others about AI, about anything that you're learning. Talk to others. That's why people we put in a classroom, so that you can learn from each other. What you can understand, what you don't understand, someone may understand it, and then from those interactions you get some clarifications. Okay, I think I'm talking too fast now.
No.
This is the example that I wanted to share with you. So this actually happened to me not too long ago. I asked ChatGPT to help me generate a small creative concept for a 3D figurine. So this is the prompt that I provided. The first one to your left. Create a design for a printing on a home 3D printer. So my son wanted to print this actually. So then ChatGPT came back to me and said, I wasn't able to generate the image because of the request violates our current content policies. Which policies? I don't know. I asked which policy. Then it just said blah 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 blah, no specific policy. And then I challenged it. I'm like, no. My husband's name is Simba. I think I just said, did I say that my son's name is also Simba? And also our spirit animal is lion. And if you know Swahili, Simba also means lion in Swahili. So Simba's fried Simba, you can't copyright it because I've got a right as a Zimbabwean, as an African to use that. So, yeah, so that's the end of my presentation. I am happy to shape the future of AI together with you and happy to take any questions at this point.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cleo. That was an extraordinary presentation, and your insights on AI has opened up our eyes. I'm hope we'll get more segments about it on in the future with you. We are so happy to have you. I think our minds at this point it's racing around. Of course, to our listeners, and now it is your moment. It is your time. The lines are now open. You can ask any questions. If you have something to contribute to the conversation, you can. If you've got personal experiences also to share with us, you are now welcome to do so. So our lines are now open. Marshall, you've got something to
No,
say?
there's a question over there.
Oh,
on
there's
the screen.
already a question.
From Rubwe.
Okay, how do we prevent AI from invading privacy? Doctor.
Okay. So invading privacy is more like a personal protection. Outside of depending if you're in the corporate environment, then they would have protections for that. But personally, you shouldn't feed information that is personal to the AI because that's the only way that it can get information from you. So I'm talking about generative AI now. If you're using agentic AI, most likely you're going to share some of your personal information. I don't know how personal you're talking about because for some people, calendar information is personal information. So if you want an agentic AI, you have to link it with your calendar. So a good practice, though, to protect your personal information, but this is might be a little bit over the board, is to build your own local agents. Actually, build your own local agent in your own house. But the moment you let it start interacting on the internet, then it's probably going to be exposed to all the online threats that Marsha was talking about.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Let me acknowledge Chantel, to our listeners. Chantel, Mora, my brother, welcome. Edwina, I can see you. You're all welcome. Rumbidzai, Loveness, you're all welcome to the show. The lines are now open. I've got a burning question, Doctor. Is AI not making our society, is it making our society smarter, or it's making us being dependent?
So I will just go back to Socrates' example, where there is good and bad in everything. So Socrates thought that writing is going to make people stop thinking, right? People will just start memorizing what is written in the books or things like that. But today, that doesn't hold true, right? People read what has been written, actually understand it, and actually utilize that knowledge that they've gained.
Exactly.
So AI, it depends how you're using it, how we use it. If we use it in a smart way, like for example, if we ask questions and then once it responds to your question, you analyze that question, also do your additional research on it. Also, and a good thing is actually to put your mind into the task at hand, and then give AI to finesse it. If you don't have any ideas, then ask AI, and then put your mind to it as well. So what we're trying to protect ourselves and our minds from is for our brains to stagnate. Because if we don't use our brain, I always say to my children, the more you read, the more you study, there are some brain cells that are opened up. So if we only rely on AI
Thank you so much. I think we've got another question. It says, do you think the AI bubble is going to burst? How can we prepare for the burst? I don't.
Okay, here I think the English is just escaping me.
Do you think the AI bubble is going to burst? But me, I understand that we should understand that AI it's been there for decades, but it's just has been just popular in the last few years. Am I right, doctor? So they're saying, the bubble, is it gonna burst? Because like in the last few years, I see that everyone, even a 5-year-old, when they're given a homework, they know I can just go on AI and the homework is done in the next 5 minutes or 5 seconds. So it has become a household name in every household, like. But then it has been there. But it's like it's something like which is to people is something like which is new, but it has been there. The researchers long back this discovered about this. So this one is saying, is the bubble going to burst? I don't know if he might rephrase his question or something.
Let me answer it this way.
Yes.
So, like you're saying, Verinta, yes, AI has been here for so long. 1950s is where the concept of, okay, can machines talk or think like humans started, right?
Mm.
And then we have what was called the AI winter between 1970 and 1980, where there was reduced funding for AI because the promises that it was that they had been given in 1950s, 1960s were not actually happening. So that's why it seems like AI just popular in the last couple of years, but it's always been there. Researchers and other organizations have always been working on it. Yeah, I actually did my PhD. It was AI related, but and I found it so funny when I read it in one of the books that I've been reading about AI. That at that point, when I started my PhD, it was in 2017 or something. During that time, people could not even put artificial intelligence in their titles, in their research titles, because everyone thought that it was not viable. So my research topic was actually knowledge, the use of text mining for knowledge discovery. So the text mining aspect is actually natural language processing, which is a component of AI, but we couldn't call it the research AI because of the it wasn't AI anymore. Anyway, so the bubble, if I'm understanding correctly, it's not going to burst in the sense of, oh, it was something people were just excited about and now it's gone. It's gonna, for me, it's gonna grow bigger. It's gonna encompass more aspects of our lives. If you listen to the interview with Sophia that happened, with this other guy, the goal for scientists today is that then in 2017 and now is that they want to reduce the burden of repetitive tasks, dangerous tasks from human beings. So AI is supposed to actually help us. So if we're considering that, I don't think the bubble is going to burst as in people are going to wake up all of a sudden and say that AI is useless.
Okay. Some network problems there. Our session's ended.
It's okay. I'm gonna do like
Oh.
4 minutes, but it's okay. It doesn't end.
Okay.
think
Sorry to cut you off, Dr. Cleo. Our session has come to an end, and I can see so many questions there. We'll try to reply to them.
No, I think she went down that side.
Yeah, I think because of network problems,
She's gone.
she's gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not from here, I don't think.
No, it's not from
It's
here.
not from here.
It's from your side.
Oh, it's from your side, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Dr. Cleo, are you there? I don't think so. Okay. I can see so many questions, but we have come to the end of our session. We'll try to answer them maybe individually. You can still write in the comment section your questions. You can still continue to write them to our listeners. And you can still also write some topics which you want us to discuss in the future. But I would like to take this opportunity to thank all our listeners, to thank our organizers, Zim Music Productions and his crew. I'd like also to take this opportunity to thank you, Dr. Cleo. I think we didn't hear you for some time, maybe your network. I was just saying we have come to the end of the show for today. And I would like to thank you for a very an extraordinary presentation. It opened my mind. I'm sure I'm gonna, even when I am home, I'm gonna go through this session again and also educate myself on one or two things. To Marshall, thank you so much for that powerful presentation. To everyone who made this possible for us to be here, I would like to thank you all for joining us today. And I would like you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Facebook, and also we can be found on TikTok, Zim Music Productions. And also I would like you also to our listeners to write some, maybe you've got some topics which you want us to talk about. Also, if you've got something to add on to the conversation, we'd like to hear from you. But from now, I'm gonna say have a great day. Thank you all.
Maybe she want to answer the last question.
And maybe, Doctor, do you want to answer the last question? You were saying, let me clarify my question regarding the AI bubble. Did you want to continue on that? Maybe we just have a few more minutes.
Okay, is it in chat?
But it's in the
Yeah,
chat.
it's in the
It's in the chat. So
Okay.
someone is saying we need another session on AI in cybersecurity next
year,
year.
for
I
sure.
definitely, for sure, will be back. But I would like to thank you so much, Dr. Cleo and Marshall. Thank you so much for being with us here.
Yes, I can take that question actually.
Yeah.
Okay, you can go ahead, Doctor.
Okay, so the person says that there are high. Okay. Let me clarify the question regarding the AI bubble. Companies are investing heavily in AI. However, investments are too high and speculative. For example, OpenAI has a turnover of 13 billion, but they have capital investment focused on 1.4 trillion. Think of the dot-com bubble. Should we be worried about our pensions being invested in AI companies? Yeah. So
Where is the
I,
question?
the reason why I said I can take
It's
this
down.
question is because
Crystal Bill C.
some of the
No,
investments
debate.
that have
Debate.
been
Slightly up.
put into
Okay.
I'll do
AI
it, I'll do it. I'll do
have
it.
not started realizing any
No.
of the any good returns
Okay.
at the moment because we're still navigating AI and like a lot of companies are also skeptical because of the dot-com bubble as well experience. They're also skeptical that okay, this one day it's going to this bubble is going to burst. Now I get the bursting bubble. Okay. So one day this bubble is going to burst. So for AI I do not think so because as humans we are generally lazy. So anything that makes our lives easier, we're going to jump on it. What
That's so true.
organizations have figured out, especially things like their data warehousing, data lakes, and also the security aspects of it, and also how they can protect themselves with post-quantum cryptography. All of those things are at play. So right now companies are not going to realize their return on investment until I think when AI is being widely adopted, especially by organizations. At the moment, it's still with the end users exploring with Gen AI and all of those things. I don't know if that answers the question.
I guess it does. Thank you so much for that.
Crystal Bill or something.
Thank you so much for that. I forgot to ask, how is Edmonton? To our viewers, Dr. Cleo joined us all the way from Edmonton. We are in Montreal. Montreal is a bit chilly. How is Edmonton?
Oh, it's snowy, cold. It's not, I haven't been outside.
Of course. So,
Slowly.
oh, okay. Thank you so much. So we've got a few questions here and there, but unfortunately we have run out of time. We've come to the end of our today's show. Thank you so much for everyone who joined us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Subscribe and also donate. You want to bring the speakers here, we continue bringing you there. Thank you.
Thank you all. Cheers for now.
Good job, guys.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.